What's up, y'all? In today's video, I wanted to share with you a story I read about Nisus and Scylla. Check it out. It's about a king and a daughter. Minos, he was king of Crete, and he made war upon Megara. Nisus was king of Megara, and Scylla was his daughter. The siege lasted 6 months, and the city still held out, for it was decreed by fate that it should not be taken so long as a certain purple lock, which glittered among the hair of King Nisus, remained on his head. There was a tower in the city walls which overlooked the plain where Minos and his army were encamped. And to this tower, Scylla used to repair, and to look abroad over the tents of the hostile army. The siege had lasted so long that she learned to distinguish the persons from the leaders, and Minos in particular excited her admiration. Arrayed in his helmet and bearing his shield, she admired his graceful deportment. If he drew his bow, Apollo himself couldn't have done it more gracefully. But when he laid aside his helmet, and in his purple robes bestrode that white horse, the daughter of Nisus was hardly mistress of herself. She was almost frantic with admiration. She envied the weapon that he grasped and the reins that he held. She felt as if she could, if it were possible, go to him through the hostile ranks, and she felt an impulse to cast herself down from that tower into the midst of the camp, or to open the gates to him, to do anything else, so on her own might gratify Minos. As she sat in the tower, she talked thus with herself. I know not whether to rejoice or to grieve at this war. I grieve that Minos is our enemy, but I rejoice at any cause that brings him to my sight. Perhaps he will be willing to grant us peace and receive me as a hostage. I would fly down, if I could, and alight in his camp, and tell him we yield ourselves to his mercy. But then, to betray my father? No. Rather would I never see Minos again. And yet, no doubt, it's sometimes best for a city to be conquered, when the conqueror is clement and generous. Minos certainly has right on his side. I think we should be conquered. And if that must be the end of it, why should not love unbar the gates to him, instead of leaving it be done by war? Better spare delay and slaughter if we can. And oh, if anyone should wound or kill Minos, no one should have the heart to do it, yet ignorantly, not knowing him, one might. I will. I surrender myself to him, my country as a dowry, so put an end to this war. But how? The gates are guarded, and my father keeps the keys. He only stands in my way. Oh, that it might please the gods to take him away. But why ask the gods to do it? Another woman, loving as I do, will remove her own hands whatever stood in the way of her love. And can any other woman dare more than I? I would encounter fire and sword to gain my object. But here, there's no need for fire and sword. I only need my father's purple lock, more precious than gold to me, that would give me all I wish. While she thus reasoned, night came on, and soon the whole palace was buried in sleep. She entered her father's bedchamber and cut off the fatal lock, then passed out the city and entered the enemy's camp. She demanded to be led to the king and thus addressed him. I am Scylla, the daughter of Nisus. I surrender to you my country and my father's house. I ask no reward but yourself. For love of you, I have done it. See here, the purple lock. With this, I give you my father and his kingdom. She held out her hand with the fatal spoil. Minos shrunk back and refused to touch it. The gods destroyed thee, infamous woman, he exclaimed. Disgrace of our time. May neither earth nor sea yield thee a resting place. Surely my Crete, where Jove himself was cradled, shall not be polluted with such a monster. Thus he said, and gave equitable terms that should be allowed to be conquered city, and that the fleet should immediately sail from the island. Scylla was frantic. Ungrateful man, she exclaimed. Is it thus you leave me? Me who have given you victory, who have sacrificed for you parent and country. I am guilty. I confess I deserve to die, but not by your hand. As the ships left the shore, she leaped into the water, and seizing The rudder of one of which carried Minos, she was borne along, an unwelcome companion to their course. A sea eagle soaring aloft, it was her father who had been changed into that form. Seeing her, pounced down on her and struck her with beak and claws. In terror, she let go of the ship and would have fallen into the water, but some pitying deity changed her into the bird. The sea eagle still cherishes the old animosity, but whenever he espies her in his lofty flight, you may see him dart down upon her with beak and claws, take vengeance for the ancient crime. Then,